What Were They Thinking is brought to you by HostGator. HostGator is a leading provider of shared, reseller, VPS, and dedicated hosting solutions. Award-winning support is available 24/7, 365 days a year via phone, email, and live chat. Discover why over 9 million websites trust HostGator. Use the coupon code SCHLOCK for 25% off your first purchase. That's SCHLOCK, SCHLOCK, for 25% off your first purchase.
What Were They Thinking is brought to you today by GameItAll.com. Whether it's video game news, the latest in music, or movie reviews, GameItAll.com is your one-stop shop for all nerdy talk. I have a question.
What's that, little Hulkster?
Hulk Hogan?
That's right, brother.
I mean, someone who sounds like Hulk Hogan, but copyright-wise is not technically Hulk Hogan.
That's right. Sure. Why not? Don't internet search me.
Okay, my mom doesn't let me use Google anymore anyway.
That's probably for the best, little Hulkster.
Wait a second. Maybe you can help me.
I'll do what I can.
Where I'm looking for all the wrestling news, rumors, and all the results, and I can't find them anywhere.
Well, let me tell you something, little Hulkster. If you need your fix for internet wrestling rumors and results and all the inside information, you're going to need to go to WrestlingNewsWorld.com. If you're not there, you're not anywhere, brother.
Wow, thanks, kind of Hulk Hogan.
Sure thing, little Hulkster. Remember, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and go to school and all that other stuff, because I'm not really Hulk Hogan, so I don't know what he'd want to say.
WrestlingNewsWorld.com. Welcome, everyone, to a mini episode.
So you're going to be singing our intro from now on?
I'm Brendan, and he's
Nathan.
We're talking about movies. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, good.
Yes. We're still recovering, I think.
Just a
Last
bit.
week's insanity.
Oh my god, we legit. It was American Ninja all over again. We talked longer than the movie actually was.
Far longer. The movie was 82 minutes. We clocked it quite a bit above that.
Almost 2 hours.
Yeah, but I mean, we had guests, so it's to be expected.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
But this week, we're not talking about any kind of specific movie. We're just, well, we will reveal the movie later, of course. But I think, Nathan, this was your idea for a topic, so why don't you go ahead and tell the good folks what we'll be talking about today.
Yep, rather than go visit our good post officer Tim, we decided that we were going to talk today about just some of the movies that that were wildly inappropriate for us to see at such young ages. Because, I mean, we've talked about it before on the show. I mean, like, we've talked about the different movies and stuff that we've seen that you're like, how old were you when you saw that? Yeah, I was 7.
And we're not talking about Disney here, folks.
No, we're not talking about, like, that classic shattering of innocence where Bambi's mom gets shot. We're talking about the time that, my cousins rented the movie Scalps, and I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was 9.
What did you call it? What is this movie?
Scalps.
Scalps.
It's about a vengeful Native American spirit who is possessing someone and they're actually legitimately scalping people.
See, I was gonna guess that was what the movie was, but I didn't want to come off as racist.
Nope. That's what it was about. Yep.
Okay. Well, that's lovely. And you were how old?
I think I was probably about 9.
Well, the first big one for me that I can think of, I guess it's not, well, I was probably like 10 or 10, like we'll say 9 or 10. And I watched Pulp Fiction.
Okay, yeah.
Didn't really get a lot of it. well, I got most of it, but like there, the scenes where they're like using drugs and stuff. I thought she just like had a heart attack or something, like Uma Thurman in that scene, which I guess she kind of does, but but yeah, that was a disturbing one. But even at that age, I was like, this movie's pretty freaking cool. Well, and then of course years later, it was even better.
The funny thing that scene. My brother saw that movie. Now I guess he was approaching a more appropriate age at that time. I think he might have been about 15 or 16. But they had a friend of theirs who is real squeamish about needles. And
me too, by the way.
So when they're doing that, and he's like, "Oh, I can't even look. And then and he figures it's over because they jam the needle into her, and he figures it over. So he turns and looks back to the television, and just when Uma Thurman sits up with the needle sticking out of her chest, and I believe my brothers told me that the guy legitimately threw up because of it.
Oh wow!
So
see,
yeah.
My thing was I'm like that around needles too, but I was okay with the part where he plunges it into her chest. For some reason, that never really bothered me. The part that bothered me the most is when he's slowly injecting himself with, like, heroin in his car.
Okay.
That was more like, ooh, because I guess it was the other one was so sudden, but that one was like...
It's more direct.
It was like close-ups of the needle. Yeah. More realistic, maybe.
Yeah. I think, for me, and we've covered it up in passing... the earliest movie that I've seen that was wildly inappropriate was probably Nightmare on Elm Street, because I saw that when I was in grade 2. I was 7 years old when I saw that movie.
Oh, jeez.
And I never looked back.
And for me, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, and I think I was like 8, 9 again. So, and I was home... I wasn't home alone, obviously, 8 or 9. But I think my mother might have just been, like, next door or something. But either way, it was dark, and all the lights were off, and I was fucking terrified.
See, when I was a kid, like, it was weird because my exposure to wildly inappropriate movies came in two different ways. One, my dad just, not really... caring too much what we were renting at the video store, but there was always the preface of if you start acting up, or if you start talking about having nightmares and stuff about the things that we've watched, we won't rent movies like that ever again. So it did two things. It made me keep behaving, but it also made me suppress all the nightmares that I had as a child because I wanted to keep watching those movies.
Yeah. These are it is really shaped us into the people we are today. Well-adjusted individuals.
Right. On a related note, the movie Angel.
Oh boy.
And its sequels. This one wasn't my dad's fault, wasn't my folks' fault. This was another cousin's thing. And the movie, I guess the franchise, it's really, because there's like 4 or 5 of them, I think, is about the first one anyways, is about an underage prostitute who takes revenge for the killing of her friend who was killed by a necrophile serial killer. Sound.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's 10.
I think I was 10 when I saw that.
10 years old.
Yeah.
10 years old.
Yeah.
We actually have we also got some people to kind of send us in not questions, but just a few movies that they had potentially seen way too young. What did you say?
Experiences?
Oh, I think you said appearances.
No, because these movies aren't these. It's not a movie you watch. It's not a movie you witness. It is an experience. When you see a movie that is the age appropriateness is way above the age that you're at. I don't want to say that it's a bad thing or a good thing or that it's going to scar you, but it's definitely something that you, at that time, think, oh, this is something I'm not supposed to be watching, so I really got to pay attention.
It really sticks with you.
Yeah.
For sure. So we got a few people to give us some kind of little stories about how they saw things way to movies that were inappropriate for their age. And actually, one of the first things, there's only one like this, but actually Steve, who was one of our guests last week from Everything I Learned from Movies, he sent us in a little audio clip of him talking about it. So I'm just gonna play that.
Okay.
Everything I learned from movies. And tonight, I guess we're talking about movies we saw, I guess, when we were a little too young for them.
Maybe just a little bit.
You want to start off, sweetie?
Well, my dad sat myself and my sister down at ages 3 and 5 to watch The Shining so that we wouldn't be afraid of movies.
How did that work out?
I remember being absolutely just like horrified of the gal in the bathtub.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a disgusting scene until my dad, with a few beers in him, go like, man, looks like her skin's made out of wallpaper. And for whatever reason, it instantly was not scary anymore. It's just like, oh my god, if a movie's made out of wallpaper, it's like the most boring thing in the world.
Wow. I think back the VHSs that we had, there was like Pink Floyd's The Wall, which I didn't really watch as a kid. I think I watched it once and was like, that looks stupid. But one I've seen thousands and thousands of times, when I was 4 years old, well, 4 to 10, Revenge of the Nerds. And,
what do you mean? That's a perfect children's film. It teaches kids all about
college and plenty of boobies. And let's face it, there's some rape in there.
You're that nerd!
And a lot of peeping Tomery and hair pie references and stereotypes and limp-wristed throwing styles.
Yeah. And a movie that I know we both saw way too early, Heavy Metal.
Oh, yes.
I just remember being super fucking confused by that.
Yes, Heavy Metal's around that same age, too. I didn't watch it nearly as much, though, but...
No, but it's definitely something both our parents were like, I feel like you need to see this.
Yeah, this is important. This means something. By the way, also, Howard the Duck.
Yeah, Howard the Duck.
Looking back on that as an adult, I'm like, how the fuck?
Well, one of your favorites, Baby Secret of the Lost Legend,
well.
has one of my favorite lines in movie history.
Well, what would you have done? If it was my wife, I'd smack the bitch.
I also saw Chinatown at way too early an age, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, God.
Why? We have it.
I'm aware of the movie Chinatown. I am aware of that movie.
Are you saying that when I was like 6, it was too early?
Perhaps it's at least 8. Yeah. But yeah, big shout out to Brandon and Nathan. Thanks for asking for our opinion on really anything.
Why would you do that?
Why would you open up this box from Pandora? But yeah, you guys are doing a great job. Keep it up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, scariest movie anybody's ever seen when they're a kid, I'm pretty sure, is Bambi, the forest fire scene.
That's pretty scary.
I'm going to skip past his mother being dead to the forest fire.
Mother being dead immediately followed by... It's like, you need a little scene in between there. That's getting the emotional bends.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having us.
Woo!
So there we
There
go.
you have it.
And actually, it's funny that he mentions Revenge of the Nerds because another movie I saw in grade 2.
Jesus.
Rambo First Blood Part 2 as well.
Oh my god.
My dad was big into like action and stuff like that. So yeah, Rambo. I don't think Rocky so much. There's boxing and stuff, but I mean the violence is fairly age appropriate for when I saw it. But Rambo's definitely up there. Commando, because that came out around the same time. I remember actually
when you were a toddler, you watched Salo. Is that the next one?
No, it wasn't that bad. But I do remember when my dad actually got a VCR in, I think it was 86. He got it, and we used to rent videos from Cox Radio and TV down here in St. John, and when Rambo came out, they had a wall of Rambo First Blood Part 2. Honest to goodness, I think they had 30 copies of that movie if they had one. Like, it was that big of a movie for them, and it was rented constantly. And my dad, we saw that. I saw Howard the Duck as a kid as well. But I think that one was a slip under the radar type of thing. Because I mean, you look at the box car, you're like, oh, it's a cartoony looking duck. I mean, it's a movie about a walking, talking duck. What can go wrong? Let your kids watch
titties.
it. Duck titties, yes.
We also got a few written ones here from some people. So this is from High Expectations Podcast at High X Podcast. She says, my mom used to love watching thrillers and having the occasional family night. One day she got out a thriller that she thought looked, quote-unquote, quite good. Sharon Stone in Sliver. I was maybe 13 at the time. So my parents, me, and my two brothers gathered in the lounge to watch this movie. When the intense sex scenes started, I was so uncomfortable and didn't know where to look. I remember I was sitting in front of everyone, so at least no one saw my face. The sex scenes were never commented on, but I'm sure my brothers loved it. Thanks for showing us porn, Mom.
See, in that situation, I don't think necessarily it's an age appropriateness thing, because, I mean, at 13, I was doing my best to watch, movies with gratuitous sex and violence in them. I think where the inappropriateness comes in that situation is Mom and Dad joined in for a good old-fashioned viewing of Sliver.
I have never actually seen that. All right, there's
plot
your
holes
review.
and gratuitous boobies. I mean,
Hey,
there you go, Steve.
Shout out.
Yeah.
This other person at Beck's Wonderland, spelt with a U, Wonderland spelt with a U, said he watched Stir Crazy at the age of 5 because my parents took us in the back of the El Camino to a drive-in and thought we wouldn't watch it, but then they fell asleep.
Actually, it's funny that they mentioned that, because one of the earlier instances I can think of seeing in an age inappropriate movie was the movie Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I saw that at a drive-in, but it was on a double bill, and it was the second movie, and I saw it at the drive-in, as I don't think my parents would think I would stay up for it.
Return of the Living Dead is another one I saw really early, and even though now I recognize it as mostly a comedy, I was fucking terrified of it.
I think because of the earlier exposure of like Nightmare on Elm Street and the like, when I did get around to seeing that movie again, I think I was only probably about 9 or 10 when I saw it, but I remember watching it and thinking that the zombies were scary, but the idea that they needed to eat brains to stop the pain was laughable.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was I thought that's like a pockmark on that movie. That's like the only scene where I'm like, it doesn't need to be there, but otherwise that movie is glorious.
Yes.
Brent from the Home Video Hustle podcast, the last one here, he sent us a bunch of different ones he saw inappropriately at a young age. Surprise, surprise. The first one is Scarface. Apparently it was one of his mom's favorite movies. She was watching it. He says, I came in the room and sat down. She didn't make me leave. I saw people getting killed with chainsaws, shot, cocaine everywhere, F-bombs all day. It was fucking glorious. Even though I was a young kid with a short attention span, I sat there almost the whole 3 hours and loved every single second of it. When I came home early from school, I snuck over and watched the movie on my own and fell in love with it.
Nice.
Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare.
Oh, it's like the worst one.
I had a babysitter who didn't give a fuck what she did or what she played around us. Sorry. One day she started playing this flick, and I'm about 8 or 9. My little brother was about 4 or 5 years old. I loved it, but my brother was terrified, and I used it to my advantage every time he pissed me off, which was often. Only recently had he finally started to get over being scared of these movies. RoboCop. He says, I don't remember the whole story with this one, but I just know I remember seeing that boardroom scene with Ed 209 and falling in love with this one. And true story, I got in trouble once at school for walking into the girls' bathroom and yelling out, "Bitches leave!"
See, that's the sort of thing that would have gotten me barred from watching those movies, because I saw RoboCop, and actually my dad took me to see RoboCop 2 in theaters.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I've seen any of the sequels.
Yeah, I saw number 2 in theaters. I think I was like 11 when my dad took me to that. 11 or 12. I can't remember when that... I think it was around like I was 12 when that came out.
Again, we should remind our our American listeners that we are in Canada, so the ratings are a lot less harsh here. Mm-hmm. So we actually, a lot of your R-rated movies are like 14A here, which is basically our 14 equivalent of your like PG-13
PG-13, yeah. So
the last one he saw, this is probably my favorite. Showgirls.
I had to sneak that one.
Yeah, one day I was downstairs watching TV, my parents were upstairs, and I was about 10, flipping through channels, and came across this one, and yeah, ... it went down.
Delightful.
Oh,
the funny thing about is that had any of these movies made any waves in the news, I might not have gotten to see them. Like I said, I had to sneak in Showgirls, and I think I was like 17 at the time when that thing hit video, so I mean there's not too much for the age inappropriateness there. But I remember when Boys in the Hood came out, I wanted to see that movie because it was supposed to be really good, and it was making some waves in the news, not in a good way. There were some, like, I guess, shootings at LA theaters or something like that were being played up in the news. I don't know how legitimately bad they were, but I wanted to go see that movie while it was playing, and my dad wouldn't let me go see it, and I was like, why? And he said, and he quoted the people getting shot at the showings in LA, and I'm like, I'm going to see it at Parkway Cinemas in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. But he was not having it. I had to wait for that thing to hit video before I got the chance to see it.
Yeah, it's surprising too, because that movie is not really like pro that kind of lifestyle. It's showing you kind of the downfalls of that.
It is, but the unfortunate thing is, and it happens to a lot of parents, is that they just kind of settle into, this is what I saw on the news and this is what I'm going by.
Oh no, I just mean in terms of like the people actually getting into like shootings and stuff, like over at a movie that's like against that.
Oh yeah, that's the absolute ironic thing about those stories happening, as when that thing was originally in theaters.
It's like it's not the same situation, but it just reminds me kind of when Dogma came out. There was a lot of religious protests, and if you actually watch the movie, it's not really that harsh.
Yeah, it's not anti-religious at all. It's just about taking a different perspective on it, and it's not, saying one way or the other, yes or no.
Right. So. It's almost like, now, I mean, call me crazy if you want, but it's almost like the people protesting these movies or, engaging in these kinds of activities haven't actually watched the film. That's
a fair statement.
Am I stepping over the line with that?
No,
one?
because it goes back to like Boys in the Hood. When I saw it, it was a good movie, but I was like, this is what everyone was getting upset about? Like,
right?
What's going on? Like, this is like I got the message that this is a bad. Again, it's not coming from a position that I was in a sort of place living in St. John, New Brunswick, so I can't say like I 100% identify with it, but I get that the idea is that, it's not a life that you want to lead, and like you said, for people to be shooting up each other at showings of a movie, it's like, man, you missed the point of that movie 100%.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
There was one other movie I wanted to mention that I saw at a far too young age. And that was when I was 26 and I watched a Serbian film, because no one should ever see that.
You're right. You're right, 100%. I could also say the same thing about when I was 30 and saw Human Centipede. So,
Great film.
oh god damn it!
Check out our episode about it, though.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So American Ninja, I think I would probably fall into that category too, though, of movies I saw, because I was quite young when I saw that. And there's a lot of violence going on. Maximum Overdrive. I think my brother and I paid for whatever the video store paid for to put that movie on their shelves, because we rented that movie a lot.
You want to hear?
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I want to hear.
I was just gonna say, you want to hear how dumb young Brendan is? Don't make a joke about how old Brendan is dumb too.
I was just gonna let that speak for itself.
Okay, well, you want to hear how dumb young Brendan was? Young Brendan was upset that he couldn't go into Jurassic Park 3 and had to settle for Castaway at the theater.
Wow, I never have our age disparities been so obvious. I would have had no problems getting in to see Jurassic Park 3 because I would have valid ID at the time.
I was not. I was not quite 14, so I had to go to Castaway instead, and I was like, "Damn, I have to see this stupid movie." And obviously, Castaway is much better than Jurassic Park 3.
I don't know how I got into this movie. Maybe it's because I at a young age I looked a little bit older than I was.
Did a full beard?
Well, you know what? I had a goatee at 16, so but I mean, before that though, I saw the movie Chasers. I don't know if you're familiar with that movie.
No.
It's kind of a forgettable comedy, very much in the vein of The Last Detail with Jack Nicholson, but nowhere near as good a quality, and with a large busty lass as the protagonist. She's
okay.
Yeah, well, and these two military guys I guess they're taking her to I don't know, the barracks or the stocks or whatever, wherever they send folks in the Navy who have been convicted of crimes. They don't go to like regular prisons. They go to like a military jail, and they're supposed to be transporting her. And the whole thing is, it's a fairly forgettable type movie, but I was quite taken by the lovely blonde young lady in that movie.
Okay.
I think she was the one in Under Siege 2. No, Under Siege, the first one.
I was going to say Under Siege 2, Dark Territory?
No, the first one. The one who jumped out of the cake. That's the first one. Yeah.
I don't remember the Under Siege movies at all.
I saw 2 of them.
Yeah, I saw them both, but I couldn't tell you anything beyond Steven Seagal, and I think one of them is on a boat.
That's the first one.
Okay.
And
is Gary Busey in one of them?
Gary Busey and Tommy Lee Jones are the antagonists, and they actually are the best parts of that movie.
In a movie with Steven Seagal's acting, I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, it's Die Hard on a boat with Steven Seagal, but Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey save the day. Not in the movie, but for to make the movie salvageable.
What a twist!
Yeah.
Well, and I understand. There's also you also mentioned that whatever. I guess he's here and he wants to talk. That's fine. Just let him talk. I'm not going to introduce him. We're not really getting along right now. So.
Okay. Well, yes. Montrose Monkington III. He saw a movie recently, and I guess it's got a kind of a British connection. Although I don't believe it's a straight up British production. But I'll just let him take it away. Thank you. It's your good friend Montrose Monkington III here. This week on Montrose in the Movies, or this episode of Montrose in the Movies, I guess, because it's not really a weekly thing when you get right down to it. But I digress. I saw the film The Legend of Tarzan, and I was quite taken by this movie because the British and also apes were working sort of together. Against evil British people. There are evil British people, but the apes were helping their friend Greystoke, or John Clayton, also known as Tarzan, it is a romp. I will tell you this. Some fantastic CG. However, I don't feel that this movie is going to be winning any awards anytime soon, due to the deadness behind the eyes of one Sarsgaard. So yes. Watch it if you will. Margot Robbie is a delight, and Samuel Jackson goes an entire movie without saying the MF word. So, The Legend of Tarzan. Not 2 bunches of bananas, but at least 2 or 3 bananas. So I would recommend it if you have some time to kill and want to watch a shirtless Sarsgaard working with Samuel L. Jackson. Thank you. More later.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Is he still there?
I know he left. He does not want to hang out with me at all. Like it's in, do it, and gone.
He seems to have a thing against both of us now.
Well, I don't know. He's a fickle chimp.
A fickle chimp.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the name of his one of his movies?
A fickle chimp.
A fickle chimp. Oh boy.
That's the name of my next band, Fickle Chimp, I think.
Well, I guess it's at this point where we have to talk about what we're doing next. So, before we even mention the title, let's give a listen to the trailer.
Exactly what did you see?
Something was following us.
This is the most horrific event this town has ever seen. Authorities are calling this the Valentine's Day Massacre.
In the town of Harmony, something unexplainable
Hello?
is happening.
Come here, you better check this out.
What is it?
This January, prepare to witness
What do you want?
the most frightening 3D motion picture event to tear through the screen. My Bloody Valentine 3D. Nothing says date movie like a 3D ride to hell.
So yeah, My Bloody Valentine 3D, the remake.
Oh boy.
You're welcome.
The only thing I'm upset about right now is that I also have it on Blu-ray, but I no longer have the 3D glasses.
Oh, see, I'm just gonna force the 3D on my 3D TV.
That's fair.
I still have the glasses and everything, but it's awful. I'll just do the faux 3D with the way my TV does it. It's not perfect, but it works.
When this movie first came out, I bought it like the first day it was out. I hadn't even seen it, but I just wanted the 3D. The gimmick of having the glasses was a big deal.
I saw it in theaters with 3D.
Did not see it in theaters because it was in theaters for about 1 week.
Just about, but it was one of the first ones to be in that whole 3D boom that kind of took off and then went nowhere.
Yep.
But I think it was the first movie I'd ever seen in 3D, so I had to.
Well,
own it.
I was gonna say the 3D boom is very much alive today, though. Like with.
Yeah, but I mean, you still get movies that are in 3D and stuff like that, but it's not as prevalent in the home market. Like I have a 3D TV, but I'd be hard pressed to name another person I know that has a 3D TV.
True that. But yeah, so join us for that next week. So I guess at this point we should plug away. So I know he already left, but you want to tell us about where we can find that dastardly simian?
Oh, yes, Montrose Monkington III. You can check out his YouTube channel, Montrose Monkington TV. You can also check him out on Facebook, Montrose Monkington III Esquire and Friends. And also follow him on Twitter, at Montrose III, number 3RD, on Twitter. And despite his first vlogcast becoming his first official Lost episode, he has promised to deliver on a Royal Rumble review. I believe Royal Rumble 92, so that's a really good one. And also videos from this year's Royal Rumble as well on his YouTube channel. And then hopefully also in the new year some new just sketch and pop culture content.
Well, there you have it. And you can also follow us on Twitter at WWTT Podcast and on Instagram, also WWTT Podcast. And on Facebook, What Were They Thinking? Find us there. You can find us on all the podcatchers, YouTube, iTunes / Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, of course, and, Al Jazeera, Human Sentai Pod, Teddy Ruxpin, Awareness Week. I'm changing
Appreciation Society.
I like Teddy Ruxpin Awareness Week.
That sounds more like a charitable event than an actual place to go on the internet to find your podcast.
We just want you to be aware of Teddy Ruxpin in his existence. So join us next week for My Bloody Valentine in 3D.
Yes.
Again, the new one, not the original.
No.
The one with Jensen Ackles.
Right. Formerly of Days of Our Lives.
Yes, and currently still of Supernatural.
Oh my God, is that is like the Simpsons of demons and ghost shows.
I believe they're in their 27th season.
That's.
But yeah. I guess before we go, do you have any questions? Or?
Well, no. I mean, I think I had questions last week. Do you have any questions this week?
I mean, I guess I could ask you a question this week, but whatever. Well, I got a question for you. I mean, I'm pretty accepting of it, but I gotta ask, all these movies that you watched when you were barely out of diapers,
right?
I gotta know, Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
What were you thinking?
Hi, I'm Noelle Heil, the host and creator of Heil on Life, the podcast where I talk one-on-one with people who inspire me. My guests come from all walks of life, different jobs and careers, and they all have different motivations that have helped them throughout their lives. I find their stories fascinating and hope that you will too. To learn more, find me on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, Tumblr, and Libsyn. And remember, we may have similar stories, but our journeys are all our own.
So I was out with this girl the other night, and she said that she hated Star Wars. Can you believe that?
I could top that. My latest date told me he didn't like black and white movies.
What?
Do you have a movie deal breaker? Is there a film you love so much that if your significant other didn't like it, it would be Splitsville?
Well, we're dating hosts Greg and Lauren, and in our podcast, Movie Date Night, we introduce each other to our favorite movies and see if our relationship can survive. And if our partners appreciate the movies as much as we do.
Find us wherever podcasts are available and follow us at Movie Date Night on Facebook or Twitter to talk movies with us.
We're happy to have you with us this evening and want you to enjoy every minute of your stay here.
Listen to me. Please listen. If you don't, if you won't, if you fail to understand, then the same incredible terror that's menacing me will strike at you!
Are you ready to enter the sci-fi double feature drive-in? Every month we hold a special double feature with a very interesting theme thought up by your host, the conspiracy-loving Elisa, and yours truly, Jarrett the Kaiju Man Wegelin. We discuss giant monsters, little monsters, genetic abominations, robots gone awry, aliens coming to Earth, cryptids, and anything in between. So join us at the Sci-Fi Double Feature Drive-In podcast every first and third Thursday of the month. And don't forget to stop by our snack bar first.
Hi, I'm Phil.
Whoa! Did someone just sign off of AOL?
I'm Paul.
I really don't have a lot on this.
Oh my God, this is rolling off the rails real quick. And I'm Dennis. I am so mixed up today, just don't even listen to me anymore.
And together we are...
Voltron! Well, no, not Voltron. We are Useless Debates in Pop Culture, a weekly...
Or we at least try to be.
...podcast that allows you to pick the winner.
Ding, ding.
By no means a landfill.
The internet strikes again.
Yeah, for sure. We'll debate anything.
So if you want to hear debates on such useless topics as Best Val Kilmer role...
Tombstone! Or Best Movie Soundtrack...
American Graffiti! Or the most successful former boy band member...
JT.
Then tune into our show.
Your podcast is so well named.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts /iTunes...
Podbean, and Google Play.
And our website, uselessdebate.com.
All right, there we go. Thank God.